Alright, what's up guys? This is Jeffrey back with another daily technicals video. And if you're new to the channel, these videos are just me going over my technical analysis of the charts and what I see unfolding for the next day. And also, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to click that subscribe button right below this video. That way you will never miss a video. And let's go ahead and get right into the charts. So last night I had a live trading session during London, and our focus was cable, GBP USD. And one of the things that we were looking at was whether or not we were going to find support at this ICT bullish order block here. So I said if we don't find support there, then it's possible we could get a retracement back up into that level, which would have been because we had a market structure break here. So any retest of that would be a potential selling opportunity for GBP USD. So, and we also mentioned this ICT bullish order block on a 4-hour basis here. Okay, and I said if we trade all the way into this, which also aligned with 79% retracement level of the fibs, so if we draw our fib from low to high, 79%. All right. So we've got our levels marked out, right? 4-hour time frame. We were expecting a potential drop up into this, and we weren't going to enter as soon as it dropped in here. We were going to wait for a confirmation on a lower time frame of bullish price action. So if you look on a 5-minute time frame, this gray box here is that 4-hour ICT bullish order block. All right, so we'll map that out. And guys, if you haven't watched the live trading session, all this will make a little bit more sense. So if you're not a part of my Facebook group, the link will be right below this video in the description. Click that to join my Facebook group, and in there you'll find the live trading session recording, so you could see these levels outlined before the fact and how we were going to trade based off of them. So I said if we trade into the 4-hour time frame, then I would be looking for bullish price action to confirm that we would go long. And how I described it was, I said I was going to look for something like this. I wanted to see a low, then I wanted to see a higher low, then I wanted to see a higher high, which would indicate a break in market structure on a lower time frame. A retest of that would be a good opportunity to go long. And at the beginning of the session, I was mentioning how dollar index is still within that daily consolidation. So in terms of trading length, we're only looking for short-term trades or day trades, okay? So notice what we had here. Let me get, all right. All right, so we have a low. We have a high. Here we have a higher low, higher high. All right. So once we've, let me actually delete this. All right. So we traded into the level. Again, we're not buying as soon as it hits the level, right? Once we hit it, then we drop down to a lower time frame. So we drop down to a 5-minute or 15-minute, wherever the price action is the clearest at the time. And as you can see, we've got a low, high, higher low, higher high. At this point, we know the buyers have stepped in because we've got a break in market structure. Any retest of the break in market structure is a good buying opportunity. So you could have went long this, went up a nice 50 pips. Where would you have set your take profits? Well, keep in mind on an hourly time frame, we were looking for this level to be traded back into as a potential resistance level because it broke through on an hourly time frame, confirming that the market structure has been broken on an hourly time frame. So any trade back up into that should be a resistance level, right? So that would have acted as your take profit target. So you can see as soon as we got there, it immediately traded lower. Now, let's look at exactly what we just looked at in the reverse for the sell. So I'm just trying to illustrate how you guys could have taken a trade on this either long or short, and both of them would have worked out. You just have to understand what you're looking for and wait for your higher time frame levels to get hit. Once your higher time frame levels get hit, if you wait for that confirmation on a 5 or 15 minute time frame, you'll notice that your entries will be, pretty spot on. I mean, let's just go back to this buying example real quick. If you would have entered long on the break of market structure, there was no drawdown here. Your stop would have went below there, which is 13 pips. Your target would have been here, 50 pips. So basically 5-to-1 reward to risk. So beautiful trade if anybody got that. I was asleep, so I did not take this. All right, now in terms of a sell, right? We traded up into this level. So once we trade up into this level, then we're going to drop down to a 5 or 15 minute and see where we get the clearest price action in terms of confirming that the sellers have stepped in. So we just look for the opposite of what we've seen unfold for the buy scenario. We got a high, got a low. Oh, why is it not copying? All right, high, low, lower high, lower low. All right, so any retest of this break here, so we broke through on this candle, retested it, sold off, made another lower low, retested it one more time, and then dropped again, right? Came back a little close to it and then continued to sell off. So if you would have got on here, your target would have been, you would have just targeted each swing low on a lower time frame because this is just a shorter term trade. 16 pips, 21 pips. We haven't reached this one yet, but this will be 40 pips if it gets down there. Now, we also have to keep in mind the higher time frame basis. We're within this 4-hour ICT bullish order block here. So it could just find support here and then want to trade higher. That's why we have to wait for price action to unfold in order to tell us that. But regardless of what price is doing, we can always find a trade setup as long as we're basing our idea off the higher time frame. And you guys just seen me illustrate both a buy and a sell based off of two key levels that were around. And I hope that makes sense in terms of people who are confused about how and where to enter a trade and why. Most of you are just struggling with patience, and you're not willing to wait for the trade to confirm, and you're just trying to buy it as soon as it gets to support or as soon as it gets to resistance. That's why I always wait for the confirmation, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, retest, enter. Low, high, higher low, higher high, retest, enter. You see? So I wait for the confirmation. I'm not looking to buy it as soon as this candle is trading in there, because then I'm gonna sit through drawdown. Then I sit down through 20 pips of drawdown, and I also have to have my stop loss bigger because we're within the 4-hour order block. So my stop loss, if I would have entered as soon as it traded in, would have been 50 pips. And you guys heard me talking about it in this live session. I didn't want to risk 50 pips, so I was going to wait for further confirmation on the lower time frame. And if I wouldn't have been asleep, this would have been the exact trade I took right here. 50 pips, got out. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Let's go over USD CAD real quick because we did get some nice movement in this. We were mentioning in the live session how we did have a lot of high impact news for Canadian dollar today. So let's go back and look at that real quick, and we'll see how that unfolded. So at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm on the West Coast, so that's where it is. That's the time it is for me. East Coast, this would be 10 a.m. But yeah, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 Canadian dollar news events as well as 3 US dollar news events. So if we're trading USD CAD, obviously we're going to see some major volatility due to the fact that we have 8 news releases coming out within like a 3-hour time span, right? So if we look at dollar CAD, we were mentioning in the live session that we had these levels up here, and I said more than likely they're going to want to clear this out before coming any lower. And the reason of that is because it's a triple top. And ICT teaches look for double tops and double bottoms in the marketplace because people teach those as entry opportunities, but they're actually good targets for where liquidity is resting. Because since the retail traders are all selling based off of this double top, triple top, they're all short. Anytime that we push it, anytime that the market pushes up there, it will clear all of their stop orders out. So anybody who had their stop loss above here and they were short, well, they got cleared out on this fast move up, right? And they weren't expecting this. They were expecting price to continue lower. But we did get that clear out of all these stops. So as long as we start breaking down and we get confirmation, so just for example, this low right here that led to the big push up that ran out the stops, basically 125.50. So we'll mark that out real quick. All right, 125.50. If we get a push below that and then a retest, that would signify to me that the sellers have stepped in and we can short this market. All right, but this is, again, where patience comes into effect because you have to be patient and wait for this. You're going to see big down candles if it makes this move down here, and you're going to be inclined to sell it. Well, you have to keep in mind the higher time frame, and it could just be potentially trading into this ICT bullish order block on a hourly time frame. So if it just trades into that and finds support, yeah, you're selling it, but what if it reverses and goes back the other way? So that's why I always wait for confirmation. All right, so dollar CAD, yeah, we did get that nice push up, cleared out those stops. In my opinion, I'd like to see this pair trade lower. I just need to wait for confirmation before I step in as a seller. If we do look on a higher time frame basis, though, we have had significant selling on the daily time frame, and we're also trading within this ICT bullish order block here. And we found support and so far have broken market structure. So we've got a broken market structure on the daily. These two candles here now become an ICT bullish order block. So we could see a bigger retracement on dollar CAD in the meantime, simply based off the fact that we have this break of market structure within our ICT daily bullish order block. So potential retracement levels would be, all right, so this high here is what led to the breakdown that broke market structure on a 4-hour time frame. Okay, so I just want to explain this one more time. All right, the market is trading within this gray box, right? Once we broke below this gray box, that indicated we have a break in market structure, right? So any retest of that are potential selling opportunities. That was the triple top that we got, all right? So if you guys watch my fib video, you know that I draw my fibs from the swing that broke out of, that made the break in market structure. This is the swing that broke market structure. Technically, it's, shit. I don't know why my charts do this. All right, this high to this low is the actual swing that broke the market structure, okay? So in terms of the retracement, we could get a higher push up in dollar CAD up into these levels here. 61.8 to 79% retracement levels, which also align with these up candles. So this is a 4-hour time frame, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So because they're all near each other and there's no down candles within this up move, this whole thing is considered the ICT bullish order block. Why? Because of the fact that we broke it here. We had a bearish close below all these up candles. That confirms that this should now act as resistance. So the fact that we have this aligning with our Fibonacci levels, as well as stop run on these highs, as well as these highs, this would be a good level for me to start looking for sells again. Again, we are more than likely going to push up in there in the short term, because of the fact that I've seen this break a market structure. Strong close like this to me looks like they're going to want to take it higher. So short term, we can look for a buy on this pair up into these levels. Once we get into those levels, if we show weakness, then we could look for a sell. And that's an example of how you, again, another example of why you only need one pair. And once you master your pair, you could buy it, you could sell it. You kind of get a feel for what they're doing. So that is my predictions for dollar CAD. I think that we're going to get a little retracement up into these levels, which is the Fibonacci retracement levels, as well as this ICT bullish order block here, these series of up candles. So that is my next upside objective for dollar CAD. If we do break above this high at 28.18, then more than likely they're going to want to take this thing higher and probably clear out the liquidity above these highs up in here, okay? Because again, if you look at it, it's basically another triple top, right? Stop loss, stop loss, stop loss. Okay, so if we break this high, expect them to want to come back up here into this ICT bearish order block. So you can see it's just kind of forming the same pattern over and over again, right? Triple top, break down, retest, continue lower, right? High, 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 essentially a triple top. I mean, it doesn't, this goes a little bit higher, but the bodies still respect it. So triple top, break below, retest, continuation. And a lot of people were probably considering this triple top, breakdown, this as the retest and continue lower. Well, it continued higher, broke the market structure, retested, pushed up, took out the stops. All right, so you have to be able to, especially if you're a day trader, you have to be able to, switch your direction really relatively quickly because you're watching a smaller time frame. If you're watching an hourly time frame, you could see the market change direction more often than if you're watching, say, a daily time frame. All right, so that pretty much wraps up the majors that we were looking at last night in the live session. And in terms of the dollar index, we mapped out this 4-hour ICT bearish order block. Notice how we spiked up into that and rejected hard. Next candle opened up and we did make a lower low. However, we just spiked below it and we actually found support within this ICT bullish order block here. And so far I've traded higher. So with this price action we've got, I think this is a fake high in dollar index, and I think they're going to want to take this higher, which would also support the higher prices on dollar CAD for that potential retracement that we may get. So this was also just another good example of marking out the level. And if this was trading into this level as GBP broke that market structure on a 5-minute time frame, it would have been an excellent buy for GBP because we have confluence with the dollar index lining up inversely to what GBP USD is doing. So I think we're going to get higher prices on dollar index unless we do get a further breakdown. So if we can break this low, then more than likely tomorrow we'll want to be bearish. But honestly, I just have to see what we get because as of right now, we're respecting bullish market structure. Low, high, higher low. Low, high, higher low, higher high. We did have a breakdown here, but it was just the wick, so all they could have been doing is clearing out the stops. But notice the bodies have respected it and so far pushed up higher and found some support here at this down candle before this up move, which is an ICT bullish order block, and so far has traded higher. So we will see what we get in terms of price action on the dollar index. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated in the Telegram group. If you're not a part of that, that link as well will be in the description below. So that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Again, make sure if you haven't joined any of the free groups, all the links for those will be down in the description, the Facebook group, Telegram chat. And yeah, that way you can get plugged in and just stay connected and essentially understand my trading style and my analysis of the charts. So that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll answer them in my next video. And that's it, guys. Have a good one.